Hello and welcome. My name is Kennedy from Before the Shot Clock. I got a really special guest today. This guest is my first interview since starting this channel, and I'm really excited for this. Obviously, I have my background doing music interviews, but this is a little something different, and I am excited for this. Um, I want to shout out right away a friend of mine, Adam Warren. He connected me with this gentleman here, and I'm really psyched for this one. I'd like to welcome Reed Kurtz, Ottawa Black Bear defenseman. Reed is an awesome player. He went to University of Delaware, had a really good junior lacrosse career, and yeah, I'm really happy to have Reed on the episode today. How you doing today, Reed?
Doing great. Happy to be on. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. So we're gonna jump right into this, brother. And yeah, I got some questions for you. I think growing the game of lacrosse, it's super important for people to be able to hear the experiences of pro lacrosse players, and maybe for guys who are young kids who are trying to, eventually make the pros. It's a matter of this is going to kind of help them show the pathway that the trajectory that this is something that is possible. So I think this is really good for the world, the lacrosse world, and the outside of lacrosse world to see. So right away, I want to start off with your first goal. Um, Tough to get much better than that as a defenseman, eh? Your first career goal. There, for those who don't know, the ball's kind of bouncing. Reed's knocking it to the ground, grabs it on the bounce, goes in and scores a breakaway goal. Um, yeah, how did that feel, and what was going through your head in that moment there, Reed?
Yeah, so for the first one, it took a few games to get it. I had a lot of chances earlier in the season leading up that I couldn't capitalize, but then yeah, we were shorthanded. I was playing up on the top and they kind of made a bad pass. I just jumped on it and like you were saying, it was scrambling around, bouncing up the floor, and I just kept kind of hitting it and pushing it forward in any way possible. I got a hold of it, got a nice pick set for me, and was able to come in and capitalize. So it was an awesome moment. Obviously, after having a few chances leading up and then getting your first one, kind of that first goal mentality was awesome and just super exciting. And it came at a pretty good moment in the game. We were shorthanded, so it was a bit of a juice moment and really happy to get the first one. So it was a lot of fun.
Beauty. Yeah, the hand-eye coordination that you have is pretty incredible to be able to keep an eye on that. I mean, I personally play lacrosse as well, and just the 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 ability when you have guys kind of crashing into you in that moment and around you to have that hand-eye coordination, especially as a D-man going full speed at that moment, that's pretty incredible, and I think it's a really underrated play. If a lot of people look at it without kind of taking in what's going on around you as well. But yeah, congratulations on that. Obviously, there's been a few since. But yeah, congrats, man.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So you are one of the rare situations in lacrosse. I mean, there's been so many families that have kind of dominated the lacrosse world. As you know, I mean, you're teammates with one right now, Jeff Teat and his father, the Grants, the list goes on, the Sandersons. Anyway, so you're one of the rare situations who have gotten to play with their brother, well, against their brother and with their brother growing up. And now you play against your brother in the NLL. How's that experience of playing against him? Because obviously you played with him at University of Delaware and you played with him through minor. What's it like kind of going up against him now? Do you still go as hard on him as anybody, or do you go harder on him because of the fact that he's your brother?
Yeah, I think it's obviously a lot of fun and it's a great moment for our family. We normally last year when we played down in Albany against them, we got a lot of family coming down to the games. So it's only happened once so far, but we'll get to play against them again this year. And I think it's a really fun experience. But as a player, you gotta almost take the family aspect out of it. And in the week leading up to the game, like him and I don't talk at all, whereas every other week we're texting every day, calling each other back and forth, talking lacrosse. But then on game week, we don't talk at all. We show up to the game, just treat him like another player on another team. And I would say I just go equally as aggressive and hard on him as I do on everyone else. And you kind of got to do your best to take the brotherly relationship away. and just play against them as any other player. And then after the game, you can hug it out and touch it up and kind of recap how things went. But it is definitely a lot of fun. It's obviously for me a very different experience for the first time doing it last year because I've always played with them and we've always been able to kind of work together and strategize, talk game plans and stuff going into the game. But then when you play against them, it's the complete opposite. And we're both closed books and trying not to talk to each other,
Yeah,
not sharing any information. And then it's all game faces once that whistle blows on the first opening draw. So it is a lot of fun, but it's a really cool experience after the game too to kind of reflect on, wow, we just played our first professional lacrosse game against each other.
it's really cool, man. It's really cool. I mean, and you know what? I totally understand the mentality of lacrosse, even with like buddies. Like when I'm playing, I'm kind of a jerk to be honest when I'm playing defense. Um, I'm like that Brad Marchand, like get under your skin kind of guy. Um, and it's funny, like you could be friends with a guy beforehand. The second you touch that floor, it's a switch, you know? And then afterwards, yeah, you're having a beer with them, you're talking, you're hanging out. Like it's lacrosse is one of those sports where you can't really have friends on the other team during that moment, eh? Like it is very much a switch. You can't have a light spot in your heart during that moment, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of the thing with the lacrosse community and the NLL is such a small community that everybody pretty much knows everybody, and you have buddies on every team in the league, and you're playing against a friend, or for me, a brother, or whatever it is every week. So it's critical that you're able to kind of put that aside when you're playing the game, and then catch up after the game, and yeah, like you said, have a beer with the guy, talk about it, have fun, and then kind of put that relationship aside for the game time. Though it is a pretty unique experience in the professional sports world.
For sure. So, Reed, I have a question for you about the skill aspect of the NLL and kind of what makes an NLL defenseman an NLL defenseman. You know, when I'm playing like, so I play senior C, and when I look at senior C defensemen, not a lot of guys have really good hands. Obviously, from looking at your statistics in junior and such, you can put the ball in the back of the net. You know, you are a pretty high point getter. Um, do you find that switching like once you get to the NLL that you have to have those hands even if you're a D man in order to be effective. Is that kind of the difference would you say between like senior B, senior C as well compared to the NLL? Is it everybody's got hands at that level?
I would say that's definitely part of it. When you get to the NLL, everybody's got good stick skills. Everybody can score on their opportunities. Everybody can push transition. Everybody can pick up difficult loose balls. It's kind of that next level that it's just a bare minimum. Everybody has good stick skills in the NLL. And then I think another big part of it is the communication and IQ aspect.
Hmm.
Like, I know that for me in college and then in the NLL as well, watching film and video becomes a huge part of it. And I think that the ability to break down a game, watch film, and have that idea of what the other team is going to do on offense, what guys' tendencies are, where they like to shoot from, how they like to get their shots, how they like to get open, stuff like that, I think becomes really critical to get to that next level and being able to know I'm going against this guy. He likes to shoot the ball from here, and he's really good at setting picks in this area. Just knowing that going into the game allows you to be that half second ahead and gets that step that avoids you from getting blown up on a pick or allows you to close out to that shot to disrupt a free shot. You know what I mean? So I think it's that IQ aspect and the mentality of knowing what other teams are going to do before they do it is what really separates the NLL.
Yeah, I mean it is the fastest game on 2 feet, right? So the idea that you do have a half a second to react and maybe take that 2 steps up. Like I was using an example the other day, the Billy Haustrauser play against when he was playing D against Walker, the game winner for Oshawa last week.
Yeah.
And it was like Billy just didn't get up to the stick just in time, you know? And it's that half second. Like if he was a half second quicker on that, he might have got stick in the lane or his body in the lane, right?
Yeah,
And
and that's the
that's
thing.
that's how close of a call it is. Like you can't blame the guy, but at the same time, like that's how close of a quick thinking you have to be, right?
Yeah, I've found that in lacrosse, the NLL especially, a half second makes the world of a difference on so many plays, whether you're a half second up to a shot or you're opening up a half second earlier for a pick, or on the offensive side of the ball, you're delivering that pick a half second earlier. I mean, it's just such a quick game that those little minute seconds make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm very good friends with Kieran Costello. I don't know if you know him. He's a Mimico Mountaineer alumni from those junior A days. And I used to go to Mimico games with him and Subak and Matt Sykes and Warren Jeffrey and all those boys. So I had the pleasure to actually watch you play in junior. And I was really impressed. What's it like to play in the environment that you played in Mimico? Obviously, you played in a couple different junior centers, but what was it like going into the Drummond Bowl, into that barn, and getting that environment? Because I find that community really, and that alumni really rallies around that team.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I only played my fifth year there. I got traded from Kitchener to go there for my fifth year,
Hmm.
and we had a great team. So obviously we were winning a lot of games in the regular season, and when you're winning, I feel like that community shows out. And we had full barn every time, tons of alumni there, lining up all the way around the boards, and just it's super loud in there. It's a historic arena. It was a really fun environment to play in. And then when we got to the playoffs, it was kind of that next level.
Hmm.
And I remember we were playing against Burlington, and it was absolutely packed in there. All the alumni are down in the corner, banging on the glass so hard it looks like it's gonna fall over. And it was absolutely electric, and it was a lot of fun to play there. So I'm super grateful that I was able to have that experience for my fifth year junior.
Yeah, I think we were like three deep in the corner there. I was behind all those guys near the Mimico locker room, and it was quite an experience. I've never seen a junior lacrosse crowd like that. Like it blew me away. I mean,
Yeah, it was crazy in
I've
there.
seen the ILA for games, I've seen Orangeville for games, but that was next level. That was next level. Um, so what was I gonna say? So favorites away city that you've played in? Obviously, you're still kind of new to the league, but is there a city that kind of is a step above the others that you really enjoy playing in? Obviously, you enjoy Toronto just because it is so close to home, but is there any cities that kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, so there's still a lot of places I haven't been with only playing 1 year so far. Um, but I think one place that had a really good atmosphere was when we went to Halifax.
Hmm.
They they fill that barn out there and super loud. They got fireworks and the cannon and the whole thing out there. So I mean, it's a fun atmosphere to play in, and they do a really good job. They're fans of getting into it, and they have their chants, and it gets loud, and it was a lot of fun to play in last year. That was one that kind of sticks out to me.
That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you watched that game last night in Halifax. That was electric in there for sure, but. Man, Warren Hill, eh?
Yeah, that was an unbelievable performance. Like
I
he was making saves from the outside, saves from the inside, breakaway saves, everything. He was standing on his head last night.
yeah, and you can't say that the defense didn't have anything to do with that either, but like yeah, yeah, goalie lets in two goals in a game. Like I used to be a goalie and I had a couple games where, you know, a shutout, one goal, stuff like that. But when you do it at the pro level and you have I think he had 51 shots or something on that. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, that was really impressive.
What's the Ottawa fans like, and what's the arena experience like in Ottawa? Obviously, it's pretty new. You did start your career with Riptide. Like Riptide just switched over, right? So, how are you feeling about Ottawa? Like, are you finding that the community's starting to get engaged? What do you see in there?
Yeah, so I was drafted by New York, went back to school, so I never played in New York, and then
Yeah.
my first official season was in Ottawa, and the fans have been great. I mean, we get a good crowd every night, whether we play Friday or Saturday. They come out, they're loud, they're getting into it, and they're really supportive of us. We do quite a few. after the game, autographs, signings, taking pictures with stuffs and like with people and stuff like that. So there's always a good crowd and they're super invested in us and it's been an unbelievable place to play. It's an electric atmosphere there and it is a fun arena in the fact of it's an NHL arena and it's big,
Mhm.
but when you get a decent number of people in there, it gets really loud and it makes it a lot of fun to play in. So I love our fans, I love our arena, and I love playing in Ottawa. It's been unbelievable.
Love that. So you have had the pleasure to play with probably a guy that we're going to look back at 15, 20 years from now and say he might be one of the best to ever play the game. You're playing with Jeff Teat right now. Obviously he's ridiculously good. However, he's still very young. What have you observed about his game and like how he carries himself as like a professional?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, just his attention to detail, how he leads the group in the locker room, off the floor, on the floor, everything. It's next level. And he is a professional in every aspect. The way he plays the game, the way he sees the game, the way he just makes everybody around him better. I think it's been really cool to play with him, and it's been an awesome experience. And kind of just picking his brain about what'd you see on this, what'd you see on that, how'd you know that was going to be open, and just hearing his answers and how he understands the game and can almost watch it develop before it happens has been a super good learning experience for me, as well as a lot of fun. Like he's just an awesome dude, so it's been a great experience.
Love that. Love that. That's the one thing I always find with these like elite players. It's the way that they break down and the way that they lead, the way that they break down the game. That's that I think that separates great players from elite players 100%. Um, it's exciting to watch, I'll tell you that. I'm really impressed watching Jeff. You have a defenseman who I want to give a shout out to because I absolutely love the way this guy plays. Another D man on your team. I want to shout out Callum Jones. Man, he's a dog. He is a dog. Just the way that he attacks and he's constantly pressuring. Um, that must be fun to watch and play with him every day. Eh? I bet you it juices up the boys.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he is unbelievable and he's so athletic and so aggressive in his playing style that as us, it's kind of a thing that we know of when Callum gets his hands on somebody, it's probably going to be a cause turnover.
Yeah.
And so he's also like a great guy to learn from. He's pretty young in the league too, only in his third year, but what he's been able to do and how he understands the game and kind of what he sees and his ability to jump a play and be aggressive, know when to jump a guy, when to be aggressive, and when to sit in the hole has been really fun. And yeah, obviously he's good for one or two big hits or cause turnovers a game, so it always fires the guys up and gets everybody going.
I saw Brent Noseworthy. It threw me off a couple of years ago when I saw when he first joined the NLL that he's a transition defenseman now. Did you know, or has he told you about the fact that he was a Team Ontario minor lacrosse goalie?
Yeah, he's always talking about his goalie days. He loves to brag about how good he was in the pipes.
He honestly was pretty good. He was pretty good. I got to the pleasure to I think it was like a goalie clinic or something like that. But I had the pleasure to share the pipes with him for a practice or two, and I was like, "Yeah, this kid's good. This kid's good." So when I saw his name playing forward, I mean, sorry, defensive transition, like years ago, I went, "What? Are you kidding me? He was elite at both."
Yeah, I guess he was telling us that he obviously used to be a pretty good goalie and then he made the transition. I don't remember his reasoning on why or how it happened, but yeah, now he's a great defenseman and so it's obviously worked out for him and he's had a pretty good career.
Well, if you guys ever need a goalie in a late game situation, or something along the lines of even for practice, you need an extra goalie. I mean, definitely reach out to him because I think he could probably carry his own out there.
Yeah, it's nice to know that we got that emergency backup if needed.
Right? Just like Colin Doyle used to do back in the day. So what's the benefit to having like you're a D man obviously, but having coaches like Dan McCray and Brian Beazle on your as your coaching staff who were great D men themselves, and they're leading you to battle.
Yeah, it's been awesome. They've been great. Obviously, uh, only Dan's first year with us, and Beazle. I've had Beazle in senior A in Brampton as well as in pro. So it's been great. I mean, the two of them just have unbelievable sense for the game. And I know I keep going back to that, but I do think that's the difference maker of understanding the game and those little small technique aspects that they're able to teach us helps go a long way. And as two defensive guys, like coaches, making sure that your decor is all on the same page and running the same system is huge. And I think they've done a great job in simplifying our system, have everybody knowing what they need to do and how to do it, and then just working on teaching us those small technique things that are going to make that half second difference. And they're both huge on film too. Of our film is unbelievable. We get a ton of stuff broken down to its finest details, and we can log on to our huddle and watch just about anything. So that's been great, and being able to do those film sessions and learn from these guys who have both done it and both played at this level and then coached at this level. It's been a huge help for me being a young guy in the league.
Beautiful. What was your welcome to the league moment, Reed?
Um, I don't know. I think there's definitely a few. One that just right now on the spot is sticking out to me was we were playing in Georgia, and it was a bit of a different game in the fact of Georgia was in a state of emergency, so there was not really any fans at the game. There was no commentators. It was Georgia was shut down, and we ended up still having the game. And there was one play I remember that kind of a scrambly play. I'm on ball in the corner, covering Lyle. I look up floor for help, talking to my D partner, and next thing I know, Lyle's burning me underneath, jumping across the crease and scoring. And it was like, wow, I look away for a second and he's gone to the net and goal. And I think that was one that it's like, all right, can't do that anymore. But yeah, just the speed in pro, and there's little things every game. That's just the one that is sticking out to me. But just the skill set on guys and how quick they're able to do things is definitely a welcome to the league.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Lyle's next level too. Like Lyle Thompson, I was talking to my buddy Kieran, and he was saying that during COVID, I think it was during COVID, the Toronto Rock did like an off-season pickup more or less, um, at the track. And it was just like all pros playing, basically pros and like top senior B guys. Um, and my buddy Kieran said he was guarding Lyle, and it was just like, you know what he's going to do ahead of time. And somehow he still pulls it off because he's just so quick and he's like 3 steps ahead all the time. That like, yeah, you blink and he's gone, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So just a few more questions here for you here, buddy. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Um, but you obviously played at University of Delaware. And I'm sure that was quite an experience, especially playing with your brother. But you stepped away from field at this point, right? Would you potentially be interested in looking into like playing in the PLL again, or are you kind of all box all the time now?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely an interest. Obviously, it's a really tough league, and there's not many there's not too many teams or many positions. So it's obviously a tough league to get into, but yeah, definitely open to it. I mean, at this point in my career, playing in the NLL has been awesome and putting as much focus and time into that as possible. But if a PLL opportunity opened up, I'd be super happy and I'd jump on that opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I think as Ontario boys, like the NL is the dream we look up to when we were young, right? So I think that's first and foremost, that's the exciting one, right? The PLL is awesome, but there's nothing like the box game, I'll tell you that. Um, yeah, so who did you root for when you were young? Were you like a rink rat? Were you like all lacrosse all the time? Like personally, if I wasn't practicing, I was like watching lacrosse or I was thinking about lacrosse. I went to rock games all the time growing up. I had season tickets. Was there a team that you followed, and were you a guy who was like that, or were you kind of more, I like playing the game, but actually watching the game as or like following it a lot when you were young wasn't as much of a thing.
Yeah, I was watching it all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, my brother and I were both super into it, and so was our dad. So we were always watching games, whether it was driving to Kitchener, watching the Junior A game, or going up to Elora and watching the Mohawks. It was we were watching as much lacrosse as we can, as well as playing. And then from an NLL perspective, we were watching as many games as we could find on TV at that point in time. And then we also did make our way down to quite a few Rock games. So growing up, it was always cheering for the Toronto Rock, the close team, the team that you grow up watching. And that was kind of our thing. And then obviously quickly changes once you get older and get into the league.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, it was definitely Toronto Rock growing up.
Well, yeah, you can't say you're a Toronto Rock fan now. You're you
Yeah,
play for
not
the
at
Black
all.
Bears, right?
Not at all.
You should hate those guys right now.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so one last question I wanted to ask, because I think every center you kind of deal with a little bit different experiences. Um, Growing up through minor lacrosse, I mean, I played for Six Nations and I played for Mississauga, so those were two very different situations and different vibes. What was it like playing for Guelph? I know that you grew up playing minor in Guelph. When I played, Guelph was like a solid B and C team. What was it like for you coming up in that Guelph organization?
Yeah, so it was lacrosse in Guelph is pretty big. Um, we got lucky in the fact that our age group and the two age groups above us, so you're doing the minor major thing
Yeah.
in minor lacrosse, but we were lucky that our team was pretty much always an A team through my career. So we were playing at the highest level, and I remember there was years that we'd have 50, 60 kids out at tryouts, and we'd have three golf teams for my age group. We'd have an A team, a C team, and a D team, or whatever it might be. So we always had a lot of interest in the area and a lot of guys wanting to play. And I was fortunate that we were pretty much always an A team and got to compete at that highest level and play against the top players across Ontario, which a bunch of guys that I now play against in pro. So it was a good experience, and we had a great coaching staff, a lot of guys who had played the game, were kind of students of the game, knew it really well, watched a ton of lacrosse, and taught us everything they knew. And we made it to Final Six most years. I think we ended up winning a couple bronze medals. Could never win the qualifiers and crack it open, but it was always a lot of fun, and we had a good team growing up, so it was super special to play for Guelph.
Sweet. Yeah, always a Regal, eh?
Yep,
Yeah.
through and through. Love it.
So one last thing I want to say to you before I let you go, because I know you got some Christmas stuff to do today, and you got a lacrosse practice tonight. But I'm gonna be bringing you. I'm gonna ask you, Reed. I'm gonna ask you if I'm gonna bring you down to St. Catharines for a Masters tournament. I played with Jeff Wittig, Alex Pace, and Chris Vale from the Creators Game podcast, and that was my last team, and we didn't do great. We didn't do great. So I got to load up a team in order to beat Mark Stainhouse and his squad next year. So I'm gonna give you a call around then. Okay, Reed?
Okay, yeah, let me know. Keep me in the loop. I'll see if I'm available.
Sounds good, buddy. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go, but have a Merry Christmas and happy holidays, and we'll be chatting in the future, and I'll be rooting for you, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. You as well. Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Yeah, bye.